It started as far back as about 2008, 2009. We were two film students coming out of Wits University that realized there was a gap for such a thing. And what that thing is effectively a full-time cinema that screened independent content, local content, interesting, different content, pretty much everything except for the big blockbuster Hollywood films. My business partner, who I started the cinema with, wrote his thesis on whether or not there was space for such a thing. We had very few models or examples or contemporaries to sort of call on, but we just knew that the appetite was there for something more boutique, something more local, something more artisanal, and we opened it in 2010.
Now, how has it evolved as a business?
It's evolved to be more of a space for up-and-coming filmmakers, where anyone can hire the cinema. And we're seeing a lot of grassroots productions come out of that. It's evolved to be more of a private cinema in many ways, where you can have your birthday, you can use it, obviously, you've always been able to use it for sort of corporate events and schools and that kind of stuff, but couples hire it to have an anniversary with just the two of them. And I must say, I've really enjoyed having it be a little bit more of a personal, private space, where over the years it's been very commercial. We are doing a lot more live performance, a lot more stand-up comedy, which for me brings a great joy and happiness into a space. And we can be a space, just like we are for filmmakers, we can be that space for comics, where they also just need venues, they need a space.
Now, you had to make a very tough decision, that is to relocate from Aberdeen to 44 Stanley. Was it a good idea?
Ultimately, yes, it was a good idea. We were very happy and very excited to be a part of the Maboneng precinct as it established itself and developed to what it was. Quite simply, it became a lot sort of louder and full of a lot of energy, which is great and perfectly fine for it. A good cinema is often quite quiet, quite intricate, quite delicate, patient. And we were just finding that Maboneng wasn't patient and quiet. It was very Joburg. It was very downtown Joburg. It had a heartbeat. It had a rhythm, which is often deep house music and cocktail bars, which is great. And let that be that. We wanted our cinema to just be a little more contained. And we found a great home in 44 Stanley. What we also needed, also very, very purely pragmatically, was a better architecture. We started Maboneng knowing very little about what we were going to be, knowing very little about how a cinema works. And so it was great to take 10 years of what worked. Like, for example, in Maboneng, once we introduced proper food like pizza and beer and things that aren't just sort of little snacks. In Maboneng, there was no place to put that. It was quite clumsy. It was on your lap, or people put it under your seat. Where in this new version, we've got a nice table in front of you. We've got a projection booth like a real cinema. So it was great to think about that and do that, and yet still be in a place quite close to where we used to be. So we didn't alienate or lose any people in that regard. Our sort of new business focus, or our ventures going forward, are to try and do more and more stuff during the week, during the day, especially in the mornings. And we feel that having established ourselves and having been around for a while, our evenings are for the most part relatively well taken care of, in that they book themselves and we program our events for the public. But we're very excited to do more stuff with schools. We want to make it sort of loud and clear that teachers can approach us directly. we can figure out a package per student. And instead of, wheeling out the little TV in the classroom, or sitting in perhaps a more uncomfortable day-to-day auditorium, perhaps an outing to the Bioscope can be a better way to see that set work, or to watch the film adaptation of a book, or see a documentary on history that will just energize the class. We as the Bioscope want to become better and give more and more offerings which can make the whole experience more, by perhaps bringing in experts, or bringing in other people, or dedicating ourselves to giving the students extra. So it's those kinds of things that we want to do more of, that I think could also just make the Bioscope that much more important in our day-to-day lives in Joburg.